crime in the city is a big deal. So I'm not putting my finger, on the mayor. Or I'm not putting my finger on the procurement office. I'm not putting my finger just on Mr. Despino or something like that. Because first of all, change have to come from the top.
It's a big distinction between what the blacks and the whites in the city have to enjoy.
Because you have a hunger for power, a black man couldn't get power anywhere else. He couldn't be mayor, he couldn't be governor, he wasn't elected president of anything, but he could be a preacher and a deacon.
To the judge, they were sitting there when they said, well, Judge, we admit our clients may have committed some ethical violations in this case.
We must come together and talk.
District 3 was the stepchild of the districts. I mean, it's apparent. It's very apparent.
I want to leave the world better than when I found it, and I think that there's not enough voices and not enough people willing to express themselves for fear of whatever.
What if our prejudices could be transformed into a force for good? A local Alexandria resident, entrepreneur, and executive producer of a local radio talk show suggests a different approach to the city's governance concerning critical economic issues that perpetuate disparities between various communities that exist in our city. Black in Alexandria, a documentary answering questions by local residents and concerned citizens, affecting virtually everyone.
Hello, my name is Jay Johnson. I'm a local entrepreneur, radio personality here in Alexandria. I'm also the 3rd District Rep for the Greater Alexandria Economic Development Authority. I would like to bring attention to some of the ill plights we all share as taxpayers. As a resident of Alexandria for the last 4 years, it's a big distinction between what the blacks and the whites in the city have to enjoy. Everything from housing to jobs to this basic opportunity that's available. Even our recreational parks are different, and there's just a widening disparity over the years. Nothing really has changed or gotten better. Although this film is called Black in Alexandria, it affects everybody. It shows that we're all in this city together. I believe that as Alexandrians, we are at a defining moment between honesty and appearances. The goal of this documentary is not intended to defeat the politics of black versus white, but to encourage unity. We're all in the family of God. With this principle, I would like to introduce some of our neighbors from the 3rd District in Alexandria in an effort to put a face on what many of my colleagues call those people.
Only thing they probably improved upon is more police that we don't need. Instead of more community activities for these kids, they built some little makeshift water slide around about Cheatham Park that we don't need. They could invest that money into some after-school programs or something to get some of these kids off these streets or something, or invest in some of the older people around here. The city of Alexandria, it's a total joke. If you go around this entire city, this is the only sector in this city that has no growth, no development, no jobs, no nothing. So, as a resident standpoint from here, nothing, nada.
When you look at the landscape, economic landscape of Alexandria, what do you see?
I read the reports from the administration. I look at the figures on a weekly basis, and compared to where they were and compared to the attention that my district was getting, there's a vast difference. There's a vast difference. I'm repeatedly questioning the administration. I write letters on a weekly basis, addressing not only my concerns, but the concerns of the people whose concerns those are. So I definitely see a difference.
I'm standing on the site of the most controversial piece of partial in this city, the Hodges Stockyard property. Many citizens, as myself, thought this to be a great site for future commercial prospects. It meets all the criteria that would support a future drugstore, grocery store, or strip mall. It has the infrastructure needed, great accessibility to the city sewage, and basic utilities, etc. It has everything needed for a commercial-ready site. This property is on a major thoroughfare with high visibility. So when the council voted to make this happen with a 5-to-1 for commercial-only zoning, this community was on the verge of having parity like the other communities in Alexandria. But by the next council meeting, as we all know by now, in 1 week, the mayor said that 2 of the council persons have broke ranks with letters urging him to veto that vote. Holding a piece of paper that had 100 signatures, thousands of voters' wishes were ignored by Councilman Johnson and Hobbs.
MacArthur, you got to go on Lee Street, the Checkers, you got to go on Bolton, the Checkers. We don't have nothing down here, man.
I'm a man of patience. I feel like that everybody that has an elected position should be given an opportunity to prove themselves. But to this point, I'm not totally satisfied with the outcome of it. It seems like that they're more against each other than they are helping the city, and that's not good for the community either.
I feel like we would pretty much come in second, because if you go on MacArthur, you will see everything that you need, and there's no guarantee that you'll get lost or that you'll have to worry about a tire going on flat, or you can see that the actual money has been there versus coming here, and it just seems like it's a lower as in economic as in where the money's been circulated around, or the streets that you see, or just the jobs around here. I would like to actually see the streets be actually cleaned up, and also if we can get more signs on the streets, and we can see as in where the money is being produced around this area more frequently.
District 3, Acadian Village, Samtown, Woodside, you'll note that there are no commercial entities on our side of town. And this hurts me. And I remember at a city council meeting, I used the analogy that, my grandmother, being in the twilight of her years, growing up, I never was able to shop with her. She was never able to shop around the corner or down the street. She always had to go across the tracks to Jackson Street, across town, to buy a loaf of bread, to get us a hamburger, to get us a cold drink. She just had to do that. There was nowhere on our side of town for her to get gas at night. And so I wanted to make sure that